So I didn't really want to do story time because I thought I was too hyper for that. But then I realized I was nearing the end of my hyperness, so. Now recently, I've been trying to find a job. Let me tell you all the interviews that I have had. I had 2 back in 2014, and then I had 2 more this year in 2016. Now, why wasn't there any in between? It was because I was going to school during that time, and then I decided, you know what, I'm not going to go to school anymore because they're not having what I want. They're taking out all the good programs. They're taking out the video program, which is the one that I wanted to do. They're taking out the language program. Basically they're focusing on nursing and stuff like that. They're going into the medical area, and some of us are not wanting that. So I finally got fed up. I didn't want to do it anymore. So I got out, and now it's like, well, you gotta find a job. I've learned a few things through interviews. Now, the first one, I was actually surprised I actually handled it pretty well. In fact, I did a little vlog back then, but then it kind of ended on a random note because she said, this was back when I was like going to church like all the time. She said, well, you know, you're gonna have to work like random days, you know, it could be like from at night and stuff like that. I'm like, oh, well, you know, I can't do that because of Thursdays. And then she's like, well, I guess it's not gonna work. And I'm like, oh, okay then, well then I'm just gonna go then. I left. And she said, oh, I'll let you know once the part-time stuff, and like, because I was originally gonna go for part-time. And she never did call me back. Forget it. And then the second one I went to, the reason why I didn't get that one is because I had a knee problem, and I still do. I can't run, just no running whatsoever. And they said that I would have to lift 30-pound stuff or something. Basically, I would have to load 10 boxes a minute. And I said, I can't do that because of my knee. And then they're like, oh, well, I guess it's not gonna work out. I'm like, okay, well, see ya. It's like, this is the first time this has happened. And then the one from this year, it was a group interview. I've never done that before. I've never done a group interview before. And the bad thing was I was closest one to the interviewer. So she was asking me all the questions at first. I have a quick mind, yes. But when you ask me a random question all of a sudden, and says, how would you handle shoplifters? And just immediately looks at me and like, how about you, Becca? How about you go first? And I'm like, we went from asking me to tell me a little bit about myself to all of a sudden we're talking about shoplifters and how I would handle them. I'm still stuck on like, wow, this girl does like sign language, and other one is like in college. Like, I'm just like, wow, it's just like all of a sudden shoplifters. Okay, wow, okay, let me take off my seatbelt because I just got whiplash. Problem is, when I get stumped at a question and I have nothing going through my head, I start going, because I didn't know exactly what to say. Like, she caught me completely off guard. And then I went to my natural default. My goal to make everyone laugh. I don't know what to do. I'm just like, she's asking me all these questions. I'm like, well, it's time to start cracking out some jokes and stuff like that. And the bad thing is, I'm very shy. I mean, no, I know, it doesn't seem like here. I'm not shy on here. And I'm not shy with my friends. Only some friends that I'm still trying to, you know, get used to, you know, trying to see how they are and stuff like that. Like Alex, I'm still trying to figure him out because I don't know. I just don't know what their pressure points are and, you know, stuff like that. I don't want to make him mad. So I'm quiet and I don't really know what to say. And then when they were asking me, I also have a stutter problem. Even though here I've mainly overcome it, I don't have as bad stutter problem as I did at the beginning of 2014. I'm more quick to thinking and stuff like that, so I don't stutter. But basically, I will stutter if I get really nervous. So I'm just sitting in this interview. Then they would ask me questions and I'm like, so I try to catch myself, and most of the time I can. But if I can't, it's so embarrassing. Like, I was sitting in that interview and I just start stuttering like crazy. And I'm trying to talk and my face is getting beet red because I don't know what to do at this point. I'm feeling embarrassed. I'm feeling, you know, stupid. So I made sure to say at the beginning of what I was saying, when I knew I was gonna stutter and I couldn't get away from it, I'm like, I have a stuttering problem. They're like, oh, that's okay. And I'm thinking, no, it's not. Because why do you think I don't like going on phones? I mean, I didn't tell her that, but that's why I don't use phones as often. I don't call people as often. You know, when you walk out of an interview, if you guys have ever been to job interviews, you walk out there and you immediately know, I didn't get that. Like, immediately you know, like, I failed that. It's like that dread feeling. You're like, I should have said something else. I should have not said that. I shouldn't have stuttered, you know, just like stuff that you really can't control. Then that leads to my last interview. I had that yesterday. Literally yesterday when I'm making this video. It's May 17th now, so May 16th I had a job interview. I went in there, and you know how when you get like really nervous? Sometimes when I get really nervous, and Vicky, Nicole, Cameron all know this because when I got nervous once, it was something about Cameron, I got really nervous and I almost threw up. I was that close to throwing up. When I get nervous, I get sick. Hey, what's this? I don't know, Dad, what is that? I don't know either, but here it comes again. So I end up going to the interview, and I'm walking, you know, I'm walking in there, and it said in the furniture department, because it's a huge store at the end of the mall. And I'm walking in there with my purse, and I'm like, I have 3 minutes, because I was running late. I have 3 minutes to find this area. Where am I supposed to go? because I don't usually go into the store because it's kind of expensive. So I'm just like, I don't really know what to do because I don't know the flooring plan completely. I mean, just give me like a few hours and I'll learn the flooring plan of a store. I went up to the second floor and I walked towards the area and I'm like, where's the office? Because I'm looking for the office to do the interview. And then I walk up to another lady, I'm like, excuse me. And look on my face right now. It's just like, I'm trying to be pleasant, but inside I'm thinking, I am running late. She takes me and she's like walking, you know, kind of slow. And I'm thinking, can you move quicker? I have 3 minutes to get to my destination. We end up going to the office. I end up saying like, you know, saying why I was there, stuff like that. And they said, all right, you know, we'll let them know. And immediately my friend told me, hey, you know what? You might get this one guy. You might get Bob, okay? Just letting you know, he's super chill and stuff like that. And I'm like, okay. I might get Bob. And then instead, this other lady walks up, Amy. Let me call her Amy. Amy walks up. She's like, hi, Rebecca? And I'm like, yeah. And I'm like, this isn't Bob. And I'm like, Kate, this isn't Bob. First thing I think of is like, I don't know what to do. Stop it, Vicky. First thing I'm thinking of is like, I don't know what to do now because like, she told me Bob was super chill. I don't know about this Amy girl. I don't know. So I'm like, smile immediately because you need this job. So I'm like, I walk up to her immediately, like shake her hand, and then we walked into when the side rooms were, she did the interview. I said, oh, a fake smile all the way. Which seat should I sit in? And she's like, oh, you know what, go ahead and sit over there. I'm like, all right. And I sit down and I'm thinking, don't mess this up, don't mess this up. Like, stay completely focused. Like, you had a soda break before this, you should be focused. So immediately, she's like, all right, tell me a little bit about yourself. And I don't know why, but that question stumped me. I was like, what I do as work, or do you mean just what I do in my spare time? And I mean, she's like, anything. Oh, and I'm trying to think, I don't want to say I play video games all the time. I don't know what to say, and I'm thinking, don't say YouTube, don't say YouTube, don't say YouTube. And the first thing that comes out of my mouth, I make internet videos. She's like, oh, really? What kind of internet videos? And she wrote something down, and I'm like, I blew it. I blew it. I shouldn't have said internet videos. I would have been much better just to say, I like camping. I'm like, oh, you know, rants and stuff like that. And hopefully when I'm hoping that once I get the equipment, I can do skits. And she's like, oh, that seems very interesting. And I'm thinking, she's not thinking that this is interesting whatsoever. She's just thinking, all right, I want this girl out of my office. I don't even get the job. It's just, might as well just tell me to go right now because I'm not getting it. And then we start talking about the job part. And she, the best thing was, she started talking, saying, all right, what would you do in this situation? Like, you started saying like all these, what would you do in these situations? And I'm like, these are my questions. Like, I'm all about those kind of questions. What would you do if? Because I have a creative imagination and I think perfectly ahead. And I'm like, yes, these are my questions. Like, I'm gonna get this. On the outside, I'm just like, well, you know, I would do, like, I'm just staying completely calm, trying to stay in my zone. And then she asked me something about, I think the question was, what would you do in a problem solve? Oh, have you ever had an experience of an unknown problem and what did you do to resolve that? I honestly don't know what happened, but my mind just shut down. I'm blanking out. This is not good. Like, I have a complete blank right now. So I'm just like sitting there. I have never had an unknown problem. Usually problems I've dealt with was something that my friends have dealt with and I'm dealing with and like stuff like that. And then I said, well, you know, I always try to think ahead of the situation. And I basically went around the question. I don't even know how I did it. I somehow went around that question and I was thinking, I hope I answered her question. Like, I didn't know exactly what to say because I had nothing for that question. I was just immediately like just trying to, oh, well, you know, like kind of like putting wires somewhere. It's like, oh, you know, I believe this one goes here and this one goes here, and you act like you know what you're doing. That's the one thing you always master, is you act like you know exactly what you're doing, but inside you don't know exactly what you're doing. You don't even know where those wires are supposed to go. You're putting the red where the white is supposed to go. It doesn't end there. And then she's like, well, can you give me a specific experience that you've dealt with a problem that you've never done before? And immediately I thought of one, and I'm like, don't mention my ex, don't mention my ex. I don't want to say that I have ex problems or anything like that. And I'm just like, my ex, I had a problem with my ex. And she's like, oh, really? She's like, she wrote something, tell me about that. And I'm like, I don't want to talk about it. Like, that's the first thing, I don't want to talk about it. Oh, well, and I'm thinking, I'm telling a complete stranger, hey, you know what? I went through a breakup. I basically just explained my entire situation. And then she's like, well, I'm sorry. I hope that gets better. Yeah, me too. And I'm thinking, I wish I would have thought of a different situation. That's just the first thing I thought of because that's the most recent. And she like continues with the questions, and I'm like making her laugh still. I'm like, okay, maybe I can recover from this. Maybe I can recover from this. And then at the end of the interview, she's like, all right, well, that's all the questions I have. Do you have any questions for me? And I remember a question that a girl asked from the last one saying, when will we hear back? And I felt like I was being very direct, so I didn't know exactly how to word it, and I'm like, when would I exactly hear back from you guys? Like, literally, that's exactly what I said. I'm like, I didn't know exactly what to say. She's like, oh, in about, like, you know, 2 days and stuff like that. And I'm like, okay, all right. And then she's like, yeah, you know, it was very nice meeting you. And like, as we stood up, I was about to get ready to shake her hand. She's like, oh, I'll walk you out. And I'm like, you ruined my handshake. Okay, all right, let's go, let's go. And then, like, as I was walking out, I thought she was gonna walk with me down the hall back to that office room. And then we were gonna walk out into the furniture department. But she only walking part way. So I felt like an idiot. She stopped at that door of that little room. And she's like, all right, well, it was nice meeting you. I'm like, oh, nice meeting you too. The other ones I could tell, yep, I'm not gonna get that. But this one I was just, I don't know. So I'm just kind of like, did I get it? By the time I'm uploading this, I will know. But yeah, that's it. I just kind of wanted to get that out to you guys, being like, I messed up on some. Everyone messes up. Anyway, I hope you guys liked the video. Leave a like. Drop a comment if you guys have ever had an interview and if you guys had a situation with. And subscribe because I make videos every single Monday. And I will talk to you guys later. Bye!